Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap. My name is Santosh, and today we have come up with a beautiful series of the fully solved PYQs for the SEBI Grade A officer exam. And we are going to cover this series in several parts, right? And today we are going to discuss about the memory-based questions of the 2020 SEBI Grade A officer exam. So first of all, let's try to understand why the PYQs are very important फ्रॉम द एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. सी क्या होता है ना, जब हम पी वाई क्यूज को एनालाइज करते हैं और उसे डिटेल्ड मैनर में स्टडी करते हैं, सो वी गेट एन आइडिया दैट हाउ द क्वेश्चंस आर गेटिंग फ्रेम्ड फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर एग्जामिनेशन, क्योंकि नेचर हर एग्जाम का अलग अलग है. सो फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर एग्जामिनेशन, how the questions are getting asked in the actual examination, in that way, in that sense we get an idea. और जब हम प्रिपरेशन कंटिन्यू करेंगे तो उन क्वेश्चंस के अकॉर्डिंग हमें कोई भी टॉपिक पढ़ते टाइम पे ये हेल्प मिलेगी कि किस तरह के क्वेश्चन पूछे जा सकते हैं इस टॉपिक से, क्योंकि हमने एनालाइज कर रखे हैं प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर्स को. ठीक है. सो वी आर गोइंग टू बेसिकली इन दिस क्लास we are going to talk about the 2022 PYQs, maybe from 15 to 17 PYQs we are going to cover in this particular class. Then in the second part we are going to talk about next questions from maybe 15 to 30. In this way we are going to cover this complete PYQs in the year 2020 and as well as for the year 2022. But please remember कि हम अभी सिर्फ फेज 2 कि पेपर 2 और फेज 1 का भी पेपर 2 कंसिडर करेंगे, जो कि प्रोफेशनल नॉलेज से रिलेटेड है. ठीक है. प्रोफेशनल नॉलेज मतलब जो हमारे स्पेसिफिक सब्जेक्ट के कंपोनेंट हैं वो है कॉमर्स एंड अकाउंटेंसी, या फिर इसको बोल सकते हैं अकाउंटेंसी. और हमारे पास कॉस्टिंग है सेबी में, इकोनॉमिक्स है, कंपनीज एक्ट है, फिर हमारे पास फाइनेंस है और मैनेजमेंट है. तो हम पेपर 2 को कंसिडर करेंगे PYQs को सॉल्व करने के लिए इस सीरीज में. ठीक है. वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू गो इनटू द QRE पार्ट, दैट इज क्वांट्स, रीजनिंग एंड इंग्लिश, बिकॉज उनका वेटेज कम है और ये सेबी ग्रेड ऑफिसर एग्जाम के लिए मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट्स हैं as far as phase 1 is concerned and as far as your phase 2 is concerned, and also for the interview part. ठीक है. So this is only the first part. We are going to come up with the second part, third part, until we are going to cover all the PYQs. So approximately there will be 12 classes, right? And for each of the parts, just evaluate yourself that how your preparation are going by giving yourself marks in each question. So if you have correctly done a question, then give yourself 1 mark, or if you have haven't been able to correctly mark the question, then just give yourself 0 marks. And the end of the session, just evaluate yourself that out of 15 marks how many marks you are getting, and let me know those marks in the comment section as well. ठीक है. So let's start this session. This is going to be a very very important class because I have told you कि PYQ क्यों important है. PYQ के बिना एग्जाम क्वालिफाई करना मतलब if I talk very honestly भूल जाओ. एग्जाम क्रैक तो कोई पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है अगर PYQs को एनालाइज नहीं किया, PYQ को स्टडी नहीं किया, क्योंकि वही तो फ्रेमिंग बताएगा ना कि किस तरह से क्वेश्चंस आ सकते हैं फ्यूचर में. और एक बार एनालाइज करने के बाद भी हमें अपने स्टडीज़ के जर्नी के दौरान भी हमें PYQs को रिवाइज करते रहना पड़ता है, PYQs को देखना पड़ता है बार बार, जिससे कि हमें समझ में आ सके कि किस क्वालिटी के क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं और किस तरह फ्रेमिंग हो सकती है क्वेश्चंस की. ठीक है. सो हम 2020 के भी कवर करेंगे, 2022 के भी कवर करेंगे एक एक करके. नाउ लेट्स स्टार्ट दिस सेशन. सो द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन सेज दैट BSE is headquartered at where BSE is headquartered. So BSE is your Bombay Stock Exchange, right? And we have very famous index here in the BSE. The basic index of this BSE is Sensex, right? So it is headquartered in Nariman Point, no. Dalal Street, yes, in the Dalal Street in the Mumbai, right? Kolaba, no. Obviously if this is your answer, rest of the answer will be wrong. So option number B is the correct answer here. So BSE Limited, also known as the Bombay Stock Exchange, is the Indian stock exchange on the Dalal Street, and it is the Asia's oldest stock exchange. And we have a very famous index here, that is your Sensex, which picks top 30 stocks of the country, and based on the performance of these stock, this Sensex is basically move up or down, right? Okay, now let's move to the second question. I hope कि पहला question तो सबका सही हुआ होगा. It's very easy because BSE is Bombay Stock Exchange. So even if you know the name, or even if you have watched some movies, that it is in the Dalal Street, right? Okay, now let's move to the second question that says DT in the DTA stands for what? So DT is basically your double taxation. So double DTA na is an agreement to avoid the double taxation, right? So option number A is the correct answer, not the direct tax, not the discounted tax, not the designated tax. So option number A is your correct answer. Tally software is used for what? So it's a very famous software for the accounting purpose. So option number B is your correct answer. So nothing to explain here. Tally software, it's basically used in the organization to enter the data that relates to the accounting part, right? Okay, and it's an ERP accounting software. ERP means enterprise resource planning software. So nothing much to explain here. It's just a financial awareness question, right? Not a component question. Okay, fourth question says NBFCs are regulated by whom? It is regulated by SEBI? No, SEBI is the regulator of capital market. RBI? Yes, absolutely. So NBFCs are regulated by the RBI. See, we are right now discussing the MCQs of the paper 1, phase 2 of paper 1. Therefore question might look easy to you, but as we are going to move further in our next part, so then we are going to cover the paper 2 of phase 2 as well. Then the difficulty level will certainly rise. And as far as 2022 paper is concerned, that is comparatively difficult when we compare it to the 2020 paper, right? And this is right now we are talking about the paper 2 of the paper 1, that too as in the 2020 year, right? So questions might look easy to you, but they are important, and we are as we are proceeding further, you are going to look at the difficult question as well in the further parts of this series only, right? Okay, and don't forget to give yourself marks for each correct question. So at the end of the session, I want to know that how many marks you are getting out of 15, because it is important for you to evaluate yourself, to judge how you are preparing for the exam. Okay? Okay, so option number B is the correct answer here. Very easy question. Non-banking financial companies are regulated by and governed by the RBI. And as per the section 45(1)(a) of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, NBFC cannot carry on the non-banking financial services unless it has the certification of registration and it has the own fund of 2 crores. Let's now move ahead to the fifth question of the day, which says which of the following campaign is aimed to improve the efficiency of the welfare services intended for girls in India, right? First option says Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is basically a deposit scheme, so it should not be the answer. And the question is asking about the improvement of the efficiency of the welfare services. Integrated child development services, no, because it is talking about the child. Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, yes. So option number C is your correct answer. Yes, okay. Now let's move ahead to the sixth question of the day, that says GIT is used in what? So GIT is your inventory management tool, that is just in time. So scheduling, no. Marketing, no. Inventory management, absolutely yes. So option number C is your correct answer. And what is this GIT? I have told you, GIT is just in time. And this is a kind of a management strategy that is going to align raw material order from the suppliers as soon as you need them. So you are not going to order your raw materials from the supplier beforehand, so that you have to store it in the warehouse. No, you don't need to do this thing in the GIT. GIT basically signifies that as soon as you need the raw material for the production process, then you are going to order it from the supplier. This is what just in time says, right? So it should match the order supplies from the supplier, should match with the production schedule, your production schedule. So for just in time to be very effective, your production schedule should be very accurately made. by the managers, right? So it requires producers to forecast demand very accurately so that your production schedule is very much effective. Okay, so what happens now by using this JIT technique, companies cut their cost on the storing of the inventories in the warehouse. So that's why they try to use just in time approach. But again, provided they have the sound forecasting ability, because they are going to order raw materials from the supplier as per the production schedule, right? Okay, now let's move ahead with the seventh question that says, during the registration of a company, the ROC issues what? See, ROC is Registrar of Companies. Whenever any private company or for that purpose any public company as well applies to the MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs, the ROC gives them the certificate, and that certificate hold your SIN number. We call it SIN number, right? So director identification number, no, ROC don't give the director identification number for the registration of the company. DIN is provided to them, but for the registration of the company, SIN is provided. SIN is your corporate identification number. So option number B is your correct answer. Company helpline number, no, obviously. What kind of option is this? Company helpline number. Why it would be provided by the ROC? Option number D, no. Option number A is obviously incorrect. So option number B is your correct answer. That is, SIN is provided by the ROC for doing the registration of the company, or basically while incorporating the company. Okay. Now let's move ahead with the eighth question that says, which type of tax is handled by the CBDT? CBDT. So if you even don't know the answer now, you can basically intelligently guess from the word terminology, that is CBDT. DT is direct tax. So option number A is your correct answer, not for the indirect tax, because indirect tax is handled by the CBIC, right? And not both and B, none of the. Okay, so option number A is obviously your correct answer here. Now this CBDT is what? Central Board of Direct Taxes. Okay, Central Board of Direct Taxes. And as we have discussed that CBIC handles what? Indirect tax. And this is what? Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Like we have the GST. So GST is handled by the CBIC officials. But on the other hand, when we talk about the income tax is handled by the CBDT. That's the difference between the direct tax and the indirect tax. Okay? Income tax is a type of direct tax. Okay. So out of 8 marks, I hope आप लोग अच्छे marks आए होंगे. See, if you get 10 or more out of 15, sorry, because we are going to do 15 questions. So if you get more than 10 or more than 12, then your accuracy is ठीक ठाक. Accuracy is good. Okay. So if you are getting these numbers, let me know in the comment section. You have to type how many marks you have got out of 15 at the end of the session. Okay. Then according to that, we are going to come up with the part 2 of the PYQs. ठीक है. ओके, लेट्स मूव अहेड विद द क्वेश्चन नंबर 9. और मैंने आपको ये भी बता दिया कि PYQ क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है. PYQ और सिलेबस से ज़्यादा कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होता किसी भी एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन के लिए फॉर द इनिशियल फेज. बट PYQ तो इनिशियल फेज के बाद भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. वाइल प्रिपरेशन जर्नी इटसेल्फ द PYQs आर इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि बार बार रिफर करना पड़ेगा PYQs में. क्यों करना पड़ेगा? आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू. फिर से बता देता हूँ, क्योंकि जब हम प्रिपरेशन कर रहे होते हैं तो हमें PYQs देख लेनी चाहिए दोबारा से, क्योंकि किस तरह से फ्रेमिंग हो सकती है क्वेश्चंस की, उसका आइडिया में मिल जाता है. तो हम जब प्रिपरेशन करेंगे ना, कोई भी टॉपिक पढ़ रहे होंगे तो हमारे माइंड में क्वेश्चंस अपने आप फ्रेम होने लग जाते हैं कि अच्छा इस टॉपिक से इस तरह का क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं. जब आप पढ़ोगे ना तो समझ में आएगा. और PYQs देखते रहना, PYQs को देखते रहना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. ओके, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन सेज GST is allotted based on what? So GST number is there. It is allotted based on what? Passport, no. Aadhaar card, no. Driving license, no. PAN card is your correct answer. So it is allotted based on the PAN card. So GST is a 15-digit PAN based number. So first 2 digit basically signifies your state code. Then next 10 digit is going to be your PAN card number, PAN card digits. 13th digit is going to be the assigned to you based on the number of registration within a state. It could be alphanumerical, that is from A to Z, or it could be from 0 to 9 as well. Now your 14 digit would be Z by default, and your last digit would again could be A to Z, or it could be your number digit as well from 0 to 9, right? Now let's move ahead with the 10th question that says as per the Constitution of India, when a bill is presented in the Parliament of India, who decides whether a financial bill is a money bill or an ordinary bill? See, if you are not going to study the polity here, this is just a financial awareness question. That's why it is only asking whether a financial bill is a money bill or the ordinary bill, right? So we are not going to get into the article of the finance bill, but from the common understanding point of view, you should notice that who basically authorizes. So Prime Minister of India, no. Finance Minister of India, no. Speaker of the Lok Sabha, obviously because it is presented in the Parliament of the India. So Speaker of the Lok Sabha is going to decide whether it is a money bill or the ordinary bill. Why would leader of opposition is going to decide, right? So answer is, so see, some of the options in the examinations are such that you can easily eliminate them, right? So Speaker of the Lok Sabha is your correct answer here. Now, as we have discussed that this money bill is given in the Article 110 of the Constitution of India, and we are not going to get into the details of this article, but for the understanding purpose, you should know that it is approved or disapproved as the money bill by the Speaker. Okay, let's move ahead with the 11th question that says bill of exchange drawn in parts is known as. So basically what happens in the case you are dealing with the overseas supplier, right? Then or maybe your purchaser, your client or customer is in the overseas market, then the bill of exchange are drawn in parts, they are drawn in sets, they are drawn in copies, right? So bill in set, so option number A is your correct answer because I have already told you. Okay, so option number B is incorrect. Bill in bricks, no. Bill in parts, no. Bill in cases, no. So option number A should be the correct answer, right? So sometimes bills are needed to drawn in several parts, so that's what we call drawn in sets, and generally it happens in the case of overseas good shipment, right? Now the next question says if the partnership deed is not there, then how the profit is distributed among the partners. See, what is this partnership deed? Let's try to first understand. Whenever there is a partnership firm, two or more partners are working there, so how the profits are going to distribute among themselves, how they are going to distribute losses among themselves, right? What are the duties and responsibility of each partner, what are the salary they can draw, all these terms and conditions, all these regulations are going to be included in the partnership deed so that there is no confusion in the future. Okay, but suppose there is no partnership deed, then what is going to happen? So question asks about this situation, that if there is no partnership deed, then how the profit is going to be distributed among the partners? As per the mutual understanding, no. As per the profit sharing ratio, no. As per the seniority of the partners, no. Equally distributed among the partners, yes. So if there is no partnership deed, the losses and the profits are going to be distributed equally among the partners. Whether the number of partners is 2 or 3, that doesn't matter. They are going to be, the profit and losses are going to be distributed equally among all the partners, right? Okay, now let's move ahead. So option number D is the correct answer. Now question number 13 says agriculture comes under which list? Union list, state list, concurrent list, restricted list, or none of the above? So the correct answer here is state list. So laws pertaining to the agriculture should be or shall be made by the state government, not by the central government, right? So there are lists in the constitution. So we have the state list, we have the union list, and we have the concurrent list. So the categories of the items that are included in the state list, laws pertaining to them are to be made by the state or the state government. So states are entirely competent to enact laws on the agriculture, right? Now the items which are listed in the union list, union or the central government is entirely competent to enact laws on that category. But if the category is in the concurrent list, then both state government and the central government can enact law on that category, right? Okay, let's move ahead with the 14th question that says, which section of the IT Act, that is Income Tax Act 1961 Act, is known as the charging section? So what is the charging section? So section 4 is basically your charging section. Let's look at the answer. Yes, so option number C, that is section number 4, is your charging section. So section 4 of the Income Tax 1961 Act is the basic charging section under which income tax is chargeable on the total income of every person, right? So again, this is the kind of financial awareness question. Income tax is not in your syllabus, but again, that's why the PYQs are important. Few of the financial awareness question can be asked only in the phase 1, not in the phase 2. Phase 2 generally ask question related to the financial awareness in the finance component itself, right? Okay, this is the static part, but in the paper 2, in the paper 2 of the phase 2, the financial awareness component can have the question related to the current affair, but only the dynamic part, only the current part. This is the question of static nature. Okay, let's move ahead with the 15th question and the last question of this part, that says, which of the following is the non-negotiable instrument? What are the negotiable instruments? Let's try to first understand. So negotiable instruments are those instruments which can be transferred and which basically gives a statement that a future payment is going to be there at a certain time period. This is what a negotiable instrument is. So Hyundai is a type of negotiable instrument. So question is asking about which is non-negotiable instrument. So this could not be the answer because it's a negotiable instrument. Currency note is the non-negotiable instrument. Bills of exchange is the negotiable instrument. Promissory note is also a negotiable instrument. Check is also a negotiable instrument, right? So the correct answer should be option number B, currency note. 15 out of 15, how many marks you have got? कितने marks आए 15 में से? ये comment section में सबको करना है. अगर आपके marks let me tell you that 10 से ज़्यादा हैं, equal to or more than 10 if you got, then it's a kind of good marks or okay marks, right? Then your preparation is on track. And if you have got less than 10 marks, then you need to basically kick up your preparations, right? But even if you have more than 10 marks, then you need to analyze complete paper. We have just now talked about the 15 questions only. So basically, I'll give you an idea about the pattern of the exam. So in the phase 1, in the paper 2, we have 50 questions. Again in the phase 2, in the paper 2, we have again the 50 question. So we have just now talked about only 15 questions. We are still left with 35 questions of the paper 2 of the phase 1 of the 2020. So first we are going to cover this, then we are going to cover this, then we are going to cover the PYQs of 2020, which are the very important PYQs, right? These are also important, but this will give you the latest idea of how the questions are getting framed, right? So 15 में से कितने मार्क्स आए ये मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन में बता देना. और if it is helpful for you, the PYQ, obviously it will be helpful for you, ठीक है, क्योंकि एग्जामिनेशन अगर क्रैक करना है तो PYQ मतलब ही एक बेस्ट पॉसिबल तरीका है या एनालिटिकल अप्रोच जिसके थ्रू लगा सकते हैं हम, ठीक है, जब हम पढ़ रहे होंगे टॉपिक्स एक्चुअली, ठीक है. तो कमेंट सेक्शन में मेरे को बता देना कि कितने मार्क्स आए हैं. नाउ दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडेज लेक्चर. वी आर गोइंग टू मीट इन द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर पार्ट 2. तब तक के लिए टाटा, बाय बाय.